Dear friends, welcome to our new video. Today we're talking about reasons why Berlin and Germany are the location for your company, why you should create your company there. And actually I was inspired to make this video because as you could see from some of the previous material, I was part of Berlin Start Alliance program together with 15 founders from all around the world. We had the chance in this dynamic program to meet so many exceptional people and stakeholders in Berlin tech ecosystem over 18 days. So this program inspired me to make this video, and apart from that, please accept soon PDF that I will create for you, where you can access all the resources I will mention. So let's talk about those 10 reasons. The first of all, the main reason is because in Berlin, if you want to start a company, you can really test your ideas, and you can do that at a real entrepreneur rate. Berlin has exceptional value for money. It is the city where you can be all dressed up and you can do luxurious things, but it is the city where you can also bootstrap. And when you're a founder, when you're in a startup, when you think about your salary last, this is definitely one of the locations to be, especially because of the current situation in European Union, and especially because of huge amount of professionalism and security that tech ecosystem in Germany provides for those involved. In a more practical level, opportunity to test your ideas, you can see that because you meet amazing people from all around the world every day. After your work hours, let's say, you go to the website Meetup and Eventbrite, or you plan in advance for the entire week where you will go, who you will meet, and you network, you exchange your cards, you test your prototypes, you show your MVPs, you talk to investors, and you build your network. And people in Berlin are very eager to help each other. They're not afraid that somebody will steal your idea. I had all the positive examples. For example, we had a chance of talking to some of the VCs, and I wasn't sure about the card of a friend that my friend received. So I asked him for the contact, and actually the person was very helpful. In another instance, a colleague from the program asked me to help with some translation into German for his startup, for the chatbot commands he wanted, and I was glad to help. So this is just tiny situation, but yeah, Berlin is the city of constant dialogue. And the great thing for you who don't speak German, you can get by in English pretty far, because pitching events are in German. So many content is in German. For example, gym classes, yoga, all those opportunities for you are in German as well. So you really want to take advantage of the city's cosmopolitan spirit. The second reason why I want to be part of Berlin community is its community. You have over 100 co-working spaces in Berlin, and this is the city where you get to test different niches. For example, I was, as part of the program, we had co-working space included. I was part of Tech Code Accelerator, which apart from Berlin has several other offices in Europe and I think in US as well, but its heavy focus is on Chinese market. And there are almost 10 tech codes throughout entire China. And what I really liked is because Tech Code has focus on deep tech and artificial intelligence, which VR company I work for and the platform we are building is like our oxygen. So you can imagine how many useful connections I made and how many outstanding people I met willing to help and who wanted to become part of our mission and vision. At the same time, if you are more involved in, let's say, social business, so you're a social entrepreneur, then the best co-working spaces for you would be Impact Hub or Social Impact Lab, which our friends Sala and Norbert are part of, that have been guests when we created Inat Summit Conference in Belgrade. And Impact Hub is, of course, part of a global chain that has offices in so many cities around the world. We had the opportunity of pitching at Place, which is nearby Checkpoint Charlie, another exceptional tech accelerator, where you have a good stage for pitching, and also plenty of founders to talk to test your ideas. We met some of them over the breakfast and actually discussed opportunities for collaboration. Apart from that, I would definitely mention Axel Springer, which is part of Accelerator, Accelerator that media company, media giant from Germany created, and also Hub Raum nearby Kurfürstendamm, that actually Nollendorfplatz, U2 metro line, where you have the partnership between Deutsche Telekom and Hub Raum, that also has offices in Tel Aviv, Krakow, and of course Berlin. A Commerzbank has its own accelerator called Open Space, and also we were at Place, Bit Central Accelerator, at WeWork, which is in Sony Center. We were at the office nearby Facebook with an exceptional view over the German Parliament where I used to work, and also there are some places where the focus is also on communities. So instead of charging so much for the place, they want to focus on communities, such as the case with Factory nearby Mauer Park, where Berlin Wall used to be the main border. And for example, they charge 50 euros for co-working, but you really want to be there at 9 o'clock because it gets full totally. As you can see, all those co-working spaces that I mentioned to you have different model and some unique values they offer. But the great thing about it, sorry, the great thing, I'm so excited talking about that. The great thing about that is that you have the chance to meet different founders and different people who are willing to test your ideas and hear your story. And this brings us to the third reason why Berlin, which is because of access to capital. We need to look at the statistics, guys, when we talk about this. Berlin had, according to information we got from Berlin Partner, Berlin had actually 1.5 billion euros investment from the beginning of 2017. Now we are talking about almost October, yeah? And entire Germany had 2 billion investment in euros. So in entrepreneurs throughout entire Germany raised only 500K more. 500 million more, sorry. getting wrong with my math early in the morning. And you really want to think about Berlin as an international city, which helps you in the sense of having costs lower than somewhere else. But at the same time, because there are over 80 companies that have their accelerator programs, and some of them also have their incubators, or they partner with incubators and give startup space, you have access to Fortune 500 companies that are of German origin and that have offices in Berlin or somewhere else. One of the colleagues from Berlin Partner told me, interesting point also, let's say Siemens has its main office in Munich, but they will and they are attracted to Berlin scene, so they're building a special hub for innovation in Berlin, where actually people can help them startup people, can help them test their ideas and actually create value, which they, as a big company, due to their bottlenecks, due to their scale, cannot possibly solve and cannot have the perspective to solve. So Berlin economy and Berlin companies invest heavily in community, and there are so far 50,000 startups, 50,000 people that they get salaries from startups. And the biggest example is Zalando, the unicorn company, the German champion, as they call it, which will actually pave the way for other companies to make to create massive exits and to create massive impact in the community. When it comes to capital, one more thing I want to emphasize. In the PDF, I will send you the framework for what VC funds exist and how do you differentiate that. But we had the feedback from one of the funds that because they heavily invest in edtech and in media and also education, that they as the fund have the so-called choice that they have made such a decision that they don't invest in companies above certain limit, and when they do so, they want to step out at some point, and they want to actually make company ready for the next round of investment. What that means is that it is, of course, the most difficult to get the first funding, and so many incubators and so many accelerators, here are focused on seed investment or Series A investment. And there are also funds such as American funds, right? Sequoia Capital, Anderson Horowitz, etc., which do invest, and some other European funds come to Germany in the search for talent and innovative startups. Yet at the same time, it is important that companies are aware that they don't want to over-evaluate themselves, and they want to be kind of in a partnership mode with investors. We heard from one investor that he doesn't invest. He actually wants. He doesn't want to spend, let's put it that way, he doesn't want to spend too much time with startups. He's very helpful, he's a great mentor, but he doesn't want to spend too much time with startups because he kind of gives them freedom, and he lets them do their own thing, because otherwise he thinks if the startups are too reliant on him as an investor, apart from the initial, push, he probably made a mistake in kind of gathering them and using opportunity for them. So this brings us to the fourth reason why this is the ideal location for your company. There are so many institutional stakeholders and partners that can help you, including the multinational companies I mentioned to you. Over 80 of them have startup programs. Some of them, just to mention briefly, Deutsche Telekom, Deutsche Bahn, Metro, Axel Springer, Daimler, Bayer, BASF, Zalando, of course, eBay, and others, which means that you as a company are capable of getting things right, and you can definitely scale your business. This brings us to another point, and that is bilateral collaboration. Apart from attracting funds from different countries, Germany is a place for bilateral collaboration between France, between Tel Aviv, between Shanghai, as we could see in our program, between New York and London. And at the same time, it is due to its geographical location and access to market of 100 million people. Because when you think about German market, we can also think about Swiss companies and a Swiss market and Austrian market as well. So what you really want to pay attention to is the opportunity to access those partners and investors. And you, if you want, for example, to create a company to expand into Chinese market or to North American market, possibly Germany can be a place to start with due to its bilateral relations. I was part of one event at Singapore Embassy, and we saw that German-Singaporean accelerators being created due to bilateral relations between those countries. So it is unbelievable how many opportunities you have when you are at Berlin, the place to be, so to speak. Another reason, and this brings us to the sixth reason, why Berlin is an ideal city for your startup, is the factor of HR, the factor of talent, the factor of having so many amazing people nearby you, and being able to actually recruit and headhunt those who are of your interest, right? For example, if we have a chance to, apart from testing your prototypes and apart from figuring out the option for what you're doing, you can go to the websites, of course, such as Gründerszene and talent-berlin.de, but at the same time, you can meet at meetups and Eventbrite so many fantastic people that can bring you potential clients that you may hire as sales assistants. At the same time, you may want to connect with those people and to think about them as your next programmer and your next marketing person or even intern. Of course, in Berlin and in Germany, as always and as everywhere, there is a shortage of data scientists and programmers, and they probably have most leverage when they negotiate for salaries and when they want to sell themselves to the companies, of course. But this is the city that attracts some of the most awesome people on planet, and definitely everybody who is hardworking and persistent can find his or her luck. The seventh reason why Berlin is an ideal location for a startup is because of legal affairs, and this is something that we who are focused on growth of the companies we are part of should never forget. If those of you who didn't have the chance to work with Germany, I will just briefly state to you that we as people notice that in Germany people are so professional and they want things to work and they are focused on growth and they are interested in making things happen. And the reason why is because they want things to function. They have this engineering way of thinking in a way. At the same time, they're also attentive to details. So if something doesn't work, they will draw attention to you, and they want everything to be clear to them. If you, for example, want to open your office in Germany, this is a big plus for you when you want to work with German market, because the very fact of having German address can bring you so much more trust, rather than if you say, well, I'm working with German people, with German clients, with German partners, I speak German, but my office is not in Germany. So having those little things matter. And when you register your company, it takes apparently 4 to 6 weeks, if everything is right, for the company to become operational. And even if you want, even if you have the chance to open, so to speak, a new branch, a new office, and you want to do it in Berlin, you get access. You have the chance to get access to public funds and to other opportunities for financing, like European projects, similar to Horizon 2020, but just on the level of German states. At the same time, banks like Investment Bank of Berlin can become one of your VC partners. Here I'm not talking about typical loan that we envision about banks. I'm talking about real investment and access to mentors that this bank, for example, has, but only for companies that have offices in Berlin and that are registered that are younger than certain age. And another thing you should pay attention to when you work with Germany is that one group of investors, one group of mentors attracts the next one. So it is most difficult in the beginning, but once you have social proof that certain stakeholders, institutions, clients endorsed you, then it gets easier. The funniest thing about legal framework is that we were warned. Notary, for example, during the opening procedure of the company will read entire documentation to you word by word, and it's a time-consuming process. But at the same time, you know what you're really doing, and you know you once again figure out, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, and it's kind of some time that you count on, and something that makes you feel more secure, although to some of us it may seem that the procedure is bureaucratic too much. Eighth reason why Germany is because of public relations, and if you have access to media, if you meet the right people, and actually creative people help you with your marketing and PR strategy, you will be able to tell a story from a different angle, and you will know exactly how to fine-tune your pitch, what stories are newsworthy. But there are so many exceptional media and people who are based in Germany but who can get you access to TechCrunch, to Forbes, to Entrepreneur, to Wired, to all leading magazines. Of course, your story needs to be newsworthy. You need to be capable of telling exactly your story as it is compelling and as it brings value to users, so that it's not about you, it's really about them. Another thing to mention when it comes to communication is that you have the chance, and it's actually connected to the story of community. You have the chance to practice your pitch every single day, actually, at public events, which are mostly in English. Of course, yeah, you can do it in English even. Actually, we didn't have the chance to hear a single pitch in German, as far as I could tell, as far as I could remember. For example, on Monday, we had a pitch opportunity with Christoph at one of the incubators located in Mitte, in center, was 6th station, called Mitte, and we thought that he will be extremely strict, but actually he was very okay in wording his suggestions and remarks and what we should change, all as startups. So I really appreciated the opportunity to meet him. On Wednesday, there was Axel Springer having their open pitch session, and there were pitches everywhere. For example, on Friday, eBay had its final competition, startup awards, that they gave to 7 companies after, I think, 6-month mentorship program, where companies moved from just having an initial idea to traction and seeking funding. Some of them being students from Germany, Lithuania, Great Britain, which was extremely amazing. It was really amazing. It was extremely amazing. And also, with the maturity of ecosystem, there come experts who help with coaching, with your business model, with seeking investors, with your consultancy. And also we met Pitch Doctor, called Christoph Solitz, who is an amazing man, who actually works with startups in many programs. He's just he's a very striking man in his methodology, but there are also many people like him who are eager to help and who go through your pitch slide by slide. And it is actually, if you're not part of a program, it is a good investment to contact those people and to actually find your message, so that it compels all stakeholders that you need to partner with and all stakeholders that matter to you, so that your startups can succeed. The 9th reason why Berlin is the place to be is because of the spirit of the city. It is the city that was divided by the wall. It is the city where when I walked by Checkpoint Charlie and that photo of a soldier, I still get chills. It is a city that had to reconcile with its past, and it is a city where every weekend there are 1,000 events taking place all over the city, and where freedom is celebrated. It is also very a city for entertainment lovers, city where a gay community feels at home. It is the city where you can dance wherever you want, where you can do almost whatever you want without jeopardizing freedom of other people and their own rights. And it is the city with extremely creative scene, which brings us back to synergy of creativity and design and arts and deep tech, algorithms, engineering, coding. So the marriage of creativity and tech is so obvious in this place. And which brings us to the final, but maybe the most important reason why Berlin. It is definitely a place where you can have good work-life balance. With its social security system, where if you are unemployed for over a year, but you worked previously, you have excellent benefits and protection matters from state. At the same time, you have the chance to figure out your own pace for scaling, your own pace for bringing value. Because in entire Germany and Austria and Switzerland as well, on Sunday almost no shop works. So you can spend the time in nature with your friends, cooking, reading, relaxing a bit, and also figuring out in beautiful parks, lakes, and nearby the river, Spree, what you can do next. So this is definitely the place for you, and I'll get you in the next video to figure out the best option for your startup.